Another pimple on my face again, said Melinda, heading to the bathroom to smooth her skin with an elaborate makeup routine. I don't see anything, her husband noted. You never see anything. You always say my hair isn't messy, but just look at it now, it's a complete mess. I think your hair is perfectly fine. My God, how can you be like this? You never understand anything, came the reply from behind a cloud of powder. I think you're beautiful, said Mark, but his wife was no longer listening. Mark sighed deeply and headed to the lake to try and catch something nice for lunch. They lived modestly on the edge of the forest. On lucky days, he would catch 4 or 5 kilos of fish, but lately, it was not uncommon for him to return empty-handed. On those days, they had nothing but bread for lunch. Unfortunately, this was one of those days. Only bread and a lone tomato made it to the table. Maybe we could buy more food from the market with our savings and fewer cosmetics from the perfume vendor, Mark remarked, breaking off a piece of bread. I know, but, Melinda began to explain, you have to understand, I need to look good for job interviews. Last time, the woman who got the job was the prettiest. You have to understand, darling, looks are so important nowadays. My job depends on it. But your resume is flawless. Please. That's just a secondary concern. The next morning, Mark headed back to the lake, hopeful that he might return with more fish. Hours passed without a single bite until, suddenly, a large fish caught on the line. It took him 25 minutes to reel it in. Then he saw it, a large, golden, shimmering fish. Please let me go, and I'll grant you one wish, the fish spoke. Mark dropped his rod in shock. He had never encountered a talking fish before. So you're real. I've heard legends about you but never believed any of them. Just because you don't believe in something doesn't mean it doesn't exist, replied the fish. Without hesitation, the fisherman released the goldfish, who kept his promise and granted Mark one wish. Mark walked home empty-handed, and when he entered the house, he found his wife sobbing. Darling, she cried, jumping up. Something's wrong with the mirror, she said in despair, pacing back and forth. I thought it was just ours, so I ran to the store, but the one there didn't reflect me either. None of them did. It's horrible, she sobbed. My love, please calm down, Mark comforted her, taking her hand and guiding her to the table. He sat down across from her and continued, Today I caught the goldfish. So it exists. Melinda was stunned for a moment, but then continued her lamenting. Yes. And it said it would grant me one wish if I let it go. So I released it and thought long and hard about what to wish for. Eternal life. But I don't want to live for thousands of years. Riches. A palace on a golden hill. But I'm happy here with you in this little house. Or maybe I could use the wish to serve all humanity. But people haven't changed so far, and they won't in the future. Then I thought, what I truly want is to see you happy. But for you to truly be happy, maybe you shouldn't be constantly measuring yourself in the mirror. You always do that and are never satisfied. I wondered what the world would be like if mirrors didn't exist, if there were no material that could reflect our faces. What if you had to believe me when I said your hair is lovely, your eyes shine, your smile is beautiful? That you are beautiful. Would life be easier that way? Or harder? So I wished for the goldfish to make it so you couldn't see yourself in the mirror anymore. What? His wife protested. How could you do that? To wish for such nonsense. Oh my God. You could have asked for wealth or eternal life. But this horror. God help me. She screamed, cursed, and didn't speak to her husband for weeks. Days passed slowly, but the chores around the house couldn't be neglected. Melinda had to keep the house in order and cook meals from a few vegetables. Gradually, she thought less and less about the mirror, her face, and her makeup. One day, she heard the nearby factory was hiring. That day, she spoke to her husband for the first time in weeks. Do you think I should wear a skirt or pants to the interview? A skirt, Mark replied kindly. They parted with a kiss, and Melinda hurried to the city. She was very nervous, especially when she saw the long line at the factory. She kept adjusting her hair, biting her lip. She came home with a huge smile, throwing herself into her husband's arms. Joyfully, she told Mark that she had been hired at the factory. Everything returned to normal, except that her cosmetics now gathered dust on the top shelf. A month passed, and Mark almost always came home with a full net. Sometimes he even managed to shoot a pheasant. Melinda enjoyed her days at the factory and was grateful to have a job. One evening, when she returned home, she stepped into the bathroom to wash her face. That's when she saw her reflection in the mirror. The curse had been lifted. Melinda stared at her reflection for a long time, then said, "You no longer matter to me, I trust my husband more."